defending our democracy movement that you have.
Yeah.
I would like you to tell us a bit more about your movement. How did it come about, and what are you standing for?
Most South Africans would agree that the country is not in a good state and situation, and it has been like this for a number of years. It's not like yesterday. And there has been a concern. When I meet people, they are concerned, but they don't know what to do. Yes. So we made a decision, a few of us, that the time has come where we can't depend now only on our parliament, because normally parliament, it's the representatives of the people. But we can't depend on parliament alone, because in the past, parliament itself breached the constitution. And there's a risk that the parliament could also go in that direction. And we are saying, as the people who elect people into parliament, the last line of defense for this country is the people of South Africa. We also are aware of the various parties, including the governing party, who are also part of that parliament. And when we mobilized the leaders in the country 2 weeks ago, we were saying that we want leaders of different sectors in our communities, professional, worker organizations, labor, business, everybody, religious organizations, to come together and say, we're not going to continue depending on those who are in power to protect our interests. Clearly, there are conflicts at that level that makes it almost impossible to protect our interests. We want to draw the line to say, this corruption that has been happening over years, this rot, this working outside the constitution and the law of this country, and signified in particular by the former deputy president defying the constitutional court ruling. At that point, it became clear we've got a crisis. And secondly, that once you have militia groups that say we're not going to allow the police to come in here, then of course we're going into the jungle. It's not a constitutional state. It is in the life of the jungle. It will be the survival of the fittest. And this is not what we fought for. We fought for a constitutional state where everybody will be equal before the law, and no one can behave or conduct themselves outside the law and the constitution.
Does Mr. Zuma's attack on the court and the things he said, does that make you even more worried?
Well, I've read the letter, and I've decided not to engage that communication in any way. The former deputy president should have presented his concerns at the Constitutional Court, but it's a statement outside the Constitutional Court. And so I wouldn't want to get involved about the issues he's raising there, because the Constitutional Court is dealing with those matters. And we should leave it to the Constitutional Court. What is our concern is that once you reach a stage where you defy, because remember, the Constitutional Court is more about what do we do about somebody who defied the Constitutional Court ruling. It's not whether or not the person is guilty of defying, it's whether or not how long will you sentence him, etc. I don't want to get involved in that.
Reverend Chikane, you and a whole lot of the other group members are members of the ANC, veteran members of the ANC. I want to ask from you, are you satisfied with the way the ANC as a whole is handling the current situation that is leading to the problems that we are getting at the moment?
No, I think you should ask that question to the veterans of the ANC and those who are in the NEC, etc. I think for now I speak on behalf of the Democrats that defend our democracy. I don't want to mix up the ANC business and this one. This one, what this one is saying is, it is directed to people who use their positions of power to loot the coffers of the state. That's really the issue, and share that with their friends, family, and collaborate with corrupt business people. So it's not just people who are in government, but it's also people who are in business. And it's not only political leaders, it's civil servants. And so this is very complicated. It's also not just one party, as you know. Yes. These corrupt people are found everywhere. In fact, you know that the South African Council of Churches, church leaders, made the statement first. They were the first one to say there is a danger here. And they also admit that these corrupt people also belong to their churches. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. So it's not a holier than thou approach. It's saying it doesn't matter where these corrupt people are found. If they steal the money of the people, taxpayers' money, and use it for their personal interest and destroy state entities and structures, or retool them to serve their interests rather than the interests of the nation, then it's unacceptable.
We are engulfed, as South Africans, we are engulfed by corruption. Do you think there are enough South Africans that are against this and that can turn this tide, this wave around?
Well, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't have joined this movement if I didn't believe it. The point is, the corrupt are few. They are never the majority. The majority are the victims of the corrupt. And the corrupt are not more credible than all of us, you know, and therefore it can be that we as the people allow this minority of minorities who steal money, who use money of the state for other purposes to continue doing this. They may, like those who believe in militias, organize themselves in a way that criminals do, you know, attack witnesses, attack people who are exposing them, and even attack the courts. It's not strange. I mean, it's not funny that it is happening. And so we can't then say, because these people will kill witnesses, will kill anybody who take a stand, we then let them govern us. And we say no. And the people of South Africa are millions who can take a stand and say no. And we believe that, I mean, it has started by Thursday. We had 900 people who had signed to support this campaign. Now it has gone beyond signing. It's local action groups that are being formed in different parts of the country. And so we expect that the masses of the people will take a stand. They don't benefit out of corruption. The masses of the people don't.
What can we, as normal South Africans, the man in the street, do to do our bit to stem this tide of corruption?
Well, firstly, and I mean, we have to work on this solution together, by the way. It mustn't come from those who facilitated the process only. But firstly, every South African must make sure wherever they find themselves, they make sure that the corrupt don't have space to operate, because the corrupt operate amongst people. I mean, even the criminals who rob a bank go and hide in a house where there are people. And so the people know where the criminals are. So everybody must do his part. Secondly, his part or her part. Secondly, all of us belong to communities or professional organizations or labor movements or business organizations or churches, religious organizations, we must do whatever we should do where we find ourselves. Like I'm in the SACC and I've acted together with the church leaders to say, this is morally unacceptable. You can't steal PPE monies, to save lives of people. You can't steal money that's meant to deal with asbestos that kills people, take the money and pocket it. You can't do that. So it's immoral, basically. So all of us must work within our organizations, institutions, and structures. Then the third thing is that we need together to work in our local communities. And I like the groups in Cape Town which are saying they are forming defend our democracy local action groups, so that in every place we'll find the community organized. Democracy works because the people are conscious. If they are not, they will be taken for a ride.